absolutely positive that you've heard of all of the farm murders, like this young man here holding, and these are very, very common. The government in South Africa has stated that black students have a passing degree of 30% in their country. And not only that, seems to be a lot of encouragement for them to hate white people, and particularly all of those, you probably heard of the farm murders, all of those farms where whites are being murdered out of the very farms that provide for the country happen to be sort of earmarked land that is mineral rich going to China.
90% of all the money aid food that is distributed now comes from white and brown people. It may not be given to whites, so says the law, and so rules Judge Kalapan. Get that? So the food parcels that traditionally certain charities have collected and delivered to white impoverishment camps where people are starving, they've got no money, they now have to give those food parcels to the ANC government where it'll be distributed to black communities. So what happens to that white community? They starve.
South Africa used to be called the piggy bank of the world. I know some things about this. My dad worked some unusual jobs in his life. That's the piggy bank of the world. And it's getting sold out to China, the land that Kim Clement and Elon Musk, and also Walter Veith, another man that I dearly like from South Africa.
Today, I was attacked all day, oh no, yesterday, yeah, over trying to help people raise money to feed people of whites being turned away from receiving food.
I want you to notice one thing about Africa. I just came back from South Africa, which is down here at the bottom. I'd like you to notice how enormous that Africa is. Now, part of the arguments by what's called the ANC government, is that South Africa should be, basically that all of Africa should be the property of only black people. This is part of their arguments. Let me be clear about this. This isn't about blacks. Those leaders that come actually from different tribes that really hate each other, they're not sharing anything with the blacks. In fact, they're doing all that they can, or appear to be doing all that they can, to suppress those blacks on the ground, and particularly ones from other groups of blacks.
We were seated together at the lunch table, so we never really got time to talk about the tweet. It was just an opportunity to shake hands, to say how are you and all that. But on the tweet itself, he was clearly misinformed. And whoever gave him that information was completely wrong. There are no killings of farmers or white farmers in South Africa.
That's the current president of South Africa. His name is Ramaphosa, and he just keeps getting worse and worse. Here's the truth, is that in fact, they've been whitewashing all sorts of stuff off of the internet. If I were to show you images, which you can find, you have to hunt, you've got pages that are being censored on the internet that are full. If you saw the images and the things that are being done to people while these statements are being made at the UN, it would make your gut literally sick, and it doesn't matter what color you are. Now, of course, they would never actually make that argument to Egypt, which is also, I visited Egypt to go in, I mean, Egypt would obviously laugh if people from any one of these countries in Africa came up and say, we own Egypt. It would be absolutely crazy. No part of the world, no country in the world would even accept or remotely think of accepting if any one of these 9 trillion African countries were to state, we own Egypt. They can no longer practice Islam. They can no longer have their own country. We own all of their government buildings. No one would accept it.
This includes, Honorable Buthelezi, how we will also handle the issue of the Ingonyama Trust. No one is saying that land must be taken away from our people. Rather, it is how we make sure that our people will have equitable access to land and security of tenure. That is how we are going to handle this.
Now, let me tell you what Ramaphosa is stating there. He's guaranteeing the Zulu kings, that's where this is going to go back to. Okay, well, he's guaranteeing the Zulu kings, or the Zulu king, that the land, his stuff ain't going to be touched, that the land is going to be gotten from the Afrikaans, that means the white people, and they're going to take it away. And by the way, they're not giving it to the black person on the ground. They're selling it to China so they can all buy jet planes and mansions, is historically what they've all done. Bottom line, what's being stated there is we're taking land from the English, the British, the Dutch, the Afrikaans, all the white people. We're taking it away from them. That's what they're stating in these very meetings and discussing how they're going to do that.
If you are going to give this land, you said something, you are going to give the land to our people. Now please tell us who is not our people in this country. Who is our people? Who is not our people? Who is not our people? Who is our people? Who are you going to give the land to? You take it from whom, and to whom are you going to give it?
Point of order,
Who is our people? I must ask you. Who is our people? Who is not our people?
Comrade Terra, when you went to prison Robben Island, you were a black consciousness. And when you came back, you became a historical mistake, which came out of Robben Island. You can't ask the question, who are your people? Because the National Democratic Revolution answers that question. It says the motive forces that stands to benefit from the victories of this revolution. Those are our people.
This man is a very good man right here. He actually left the ANC over corruption. This is heading somewhere in the prophecies. His name is Lakota. He's a good man in South Africa.
For me to give you 2 rand, I'd have to be the last man on earth, or you have to have a gun in my head. White people are murderers, man. You've killed our forefathers. You are here illegal, and you still want me to give you a 2 rand. My man, I feel disrespected.
So it's been for a long time there illegal for a white person of any sort to speak anything bad or even perceived bad against a black person. And that's just where some of it started, the suppression of speaking at all. Now it's illegal right now today to speak anything negative of the actions of the government, which means they can't post or tell you anything while things are being whitewashed off the internet. And more than this, it's actually a crime right now as I make this tape for you to donate food. The businesses have been taken away from the whites. These people are living in terror. And now, as they're moving out onto the streets, it's illegal to give them food.
I'm sitting here nicely, working in the beach, in the ocean, and relaxing. You're coming here to disturb me. Why are you doing this, my brother?
I am hungry.
You're hungry? But my forefathers would kill me if I had to give a tour to a white man. No hard feelings, my brother.
We must see this process of accelerated land redistribution as an opportunity rather than as a threat. And I'd like to invite all South Africans not to see this issue, this pain that many of our people are still going through. We should never see it as a threat. We should rather see it as a great opportunity.